Hello, this is going to show you how to create a rubric using Canvas. I'm going to keep it pretty simple for you today. I'm just going to delete this. So this is my test course. I've just created a sample assignment. I've already went through another thing that creates assignment, but remember, if you want to edit this assignment, you have a number of options. As a reminder, I would make sure to put any assignment description into this box right here, because some students may be accessing it mainly through the Canvas app, and that'll just make their lives a little bit easier. So if you do have a Word document with your instructions on, you can just copy paste into that box. I'm going to make this 15 points. I've already kind of talked about some of these different things in the past, but allow for text entry, website URL, file uploads. You can restrict the file types. So I would, do PDF, doc, text. I would make that as comprehensive as you can for what you're asking students to do. You can assign to whatever course. I usually just select that. I know it's kind of an extra thing you have to do. Click Save. And it's not going to let me save because this is my test course and I had to set it up for Canvas tutorials. Not tutorials, but training that I had to do. So I'm going to show you how to create a rubric in this assignment. So you're going to see something like this as soon as you click on Create a Rubric. And by the way, you don't have to create a rubric. I just thought it would be useful to show you how and what it looks like. So my best advice is it's going to automatically title it some rubric. I'm just going to say sample rubric here. And I do this just because it's easier for me to find the rubrics that I want if I need to put in a rubric. Let's say I teach English 301 technical and professional writing every semester. And so I reuse some of the rubrics. Sometimes I adjust them based upon assignment changes and stuff like that. But if you do want to reuse a rubric, you just select Find a Rubric. And it's going to nicely and luckily show you each course that you have and what rubrics you have. And this is for as long as you've used Canvas for your courses. And if there is a rubric you want to reuse, just select Use this rubric, and it'll just automatically load into the rubric that for the assignment that you're making. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to show you what it's like to build one. So here you have a description of criterion. I don't do range, I do points, but if you were to click on that, it would show you a range of how many points you could go to. Again, that's not how I usually do this because I write a lot of comments. So I just rely on myself to make sure to do that. I'm going to rename this criterion. So when you edit a criterion, you're going to see two things. You're going to see a description box and you're going to see a long description. What you imagine that means is correct. The description is just let's say I want to grade on content. I want to make sure they have a thesis statement, supporting evidence, and a number of other things, conclusion, let's just say. And then you could describe what you mean by that. You could give an example of a good thesis statement. I mean, you could be as descriptive here as pretty much you want to in the long description. But if you're like me, I leave a lot of comments. So I just sometimes I'll explain something more, I might define what a thesis statement is or what I mean by supporting evidence. But you don't have to do that. You can keep this as detailed or not detailed as you want. I'm going to update that. As you can see, it shows up in the criteria box here. And if you want to keep that 5 points, you can. I am going to, see I'm working with 15. I'll just keep it at 5. All right, so to create a new criterion, it's going to let you duplicate if you want. I just usually create a new one. This is going to be grammar and style. Create criterion. So we have 10 points. We still have 5 points to go. Let's say I want to make sure that they have an MLA or IPA format. So you can see I have this 15 points assignment here. I have 15 points in my rubric. Because I do write comments on the rubric, I just select I'll write free-form comments when assessing students. You will notice those ratings disappear. Those ratings are really useful if you choose not to write those free-form comments. I also use the rubric for assignment when grading. So make sure that's selected and select Create Rubric. And there you have a rubric for your students. And so this is really nice because when you go into SpeedGrader, which I'm not going to be able to do because this is my test course and there are no students, once you load that up, you will see this rubric on the left side. You'll have to expand it and fill it out, but it will be there for you. And you'll still have the comment box at the bottom, like I talked about in my SpeedGrader video. You'll still have everything else there, but you will have an added rubric. All right. So I hope that's been helpful for you in learning you how to set up a rubric in Canvas. Thank you.